Why is this dude cutting the line?
Because I am an AEO.
The purpose of this animation is to shed light on both existing and potential benefits for AEO certified traders, importers, and freight forwarders, focusing on benefit granted by customs administrations. Cross-Border Research Association, CBRA, has carried out the background research since the year 2005. The two stars of these animations are Mike and John, who both have an import business. Mike has an AEO certificate and John not. Let's start with the first category of AEO benefits for trade, which is all about streamlined customs processes and reduced data requirements. When it comes to more streamlined or simplified customs procedures, a commonly quoted benefit for AEO companies is less data required in pre-departure, pre-arrival, or final declarations. The AEO Mike is benefiting from a minimum data set requirements, while non-AEO John has to deal with all possible data elements. As an example, HS code, name, address, and ID of parties might be required only with non-AEOs, which can mean extra IT integration or messaging costs for them. In many parts of the world, paper documents like bill of lading, airway bills, and various certificates are still required by customs to submit, even if the mainstream of declarations will be electronic. John and his non-AEO company must comply with all paper-based requirements, while Mike and his AEO company may be allowed to dodge at least most of the paper submissions. It can be quite frustrating and time-consuming to fill in full applications form each time you apply for a special customs regime or for a supply chain security certification with other government agencies, particularly as most of the data can be very similar across all the applications. AEO Mike got his inward processing and aviation security applications processed and approved in a record time, while non-AEO John had to suffer through full applications procedures, step by step, document by document.
So John, did you get a flavor already on how becoming an AEO pays off?
Well, I understood the concepts, Mike, but I'm not fully sure yet how relevant they would be for my company.
Okay, no worries. Let's look further. I am pretty sure that you will be impressed by the next group of AEO benefits. Less frequent interventions by custom administrations.
This must be the most quoted AEO benefit across the globe. Thanks to his trusted status, AEO Mike has less security controls and inspections than non-AEO John. For example, assuming similar import values, AEO Mike may have only a couple of security inspections per year, while non-AEO John may have several dozens of them. Time and cost saved for AEO Mike. Is non-AEO John then more likely to carry prohibited goods in his containers than AEO Mike? What do you think? As the importer or freight forwarder, wouldn't it be convenient if you were not required to produce a full declaration for each single import like non-AEO John has to do? But instead, doing what AEO Mike is privileged to do, which is to present all imports to customs periodically on one go, say at the end of each month, even offering customs a direct access to your operational and accounting IT system? No matter if you are on the transaction-based control track or in the system-based control track, random audits by customs may kick in every now and then. For non-AEO John, each audit means hours and even days spent with the customs auditor entering his premises. AEO Mike, on the other hand, is facing fewer randoms of audit controls and may, in some cases, be offered the option to carry out self-audits.
So Mike, you classified these benefits as less frequent interventions by custom agencies, both for my logistics change as well as for administrative work.
Yes, exactly, John. Less security inspections, more system-based controls, and less random audits, even with the option to self-audit.
Well, maybe these make some sense. I guess I'm warming up a bit. Particularly, the concept of getting rid of transaction-based declarations sounds somewhat attractive.
Cool! And now, let's look at what increased positive attention by customs can mean and yield for you.
Poor John. As long as his company is not an AEO, he doesn't have a regular point of contact in customs administration to call or meet when questions arise. AEO Mike, on the other hand, can always get advice from the specialized AEO hotline, and he even has a long working relationship with a customs officer who has gained deep knowledge in Mike's industrial sector. Sounds effective and efficient for Mike, doesn't it? Somewhat linked to the previous benefit, AEO might participate once a year in a highly informative training seminar delivered by top customs experts from the national administration, often accompanied even by one expert from the World Customs Organization. Mike can learn all about the latest procedural, data management, security, legislative, and other relevant customs updates without paying a cent for that. Since John is not an AEO, these classroom doors remain closed for him, and he will have to study by himself. The classic concept of pre-clearance, which includes a notification of an intention to release goods prior to their arrival, has been a hot potato in trade facilitations in quite some time. If AEO Mike is granted with this privilege, he can plan, for example, his hinterland and last mile logistics much more efficiently and accurately than non-AEO John. Non-AEO John will have to organize follow-up transport only after the customs has actually released his goods. Go Mike versus wait John.
Cool things happen in the AEO universe. Would you agree, John?
Yes, sure. Audit-based controls, free training by top customs experts, even option for pre-clearance. Okay, Mike, I'm all ears now. Please continue.
Oh yeah, the AEO ride continues, and you will not regret. Next in turn, increased priority of AEO companies over the non-AEO companies.
It is a fact of life that customs control and inspections take place, and they do take time, as in queuing for inspection and the inspections themselves. In case a container is selected for control, AEO Mike may have one or even two privileges over non-AEO John. First, he might get instantly in front of the waiting queue. And second, he might be called relatively more for non-intrusive inspections, while John is facing relatively more manual inspections. Another form of AEO enjoying priority over non-AEO is about response time to advanced ruling requests or post-entry and post-clearance inquiries. Mike might get replies within days or 3 weeks maximum, while John has to wait even several months. This enabled Mike to make sourcing and other supply chain decisions in much shorter time cycles and to grab on new opportunities instantly as they come. Sometimes the unfortunate happens. It can be about security agencies deciding on elevated threat conditions and measures, or in the very worst case scenario about coping with aftermath of a terrorist attack in a seaport, in an air cargo system or similar. In such situation, the supply chain may come to halt, or at least to slow down drastically. And once it is safe enough to start moving goods again, who is it going to be in front of the very long border queue? Well, rest assured, it is AEO Mike.
Quite impressive, Mike, I must admit. I've really had it wait for hours in inspection queues, and also the response time to my advanced ruling inquiries has lately taken over 3 months. Meaning I've lost great sourcing opportunities with innovative, low-priced products.
Good to hear, John, that you might be turning into an AEO believer. Let's look at just a couple of more interesting details and facts, if it's okay for you.
Okay, Mike, go ahead, make my day.
There are several ways to reward AEO companies in the context of fiscals, including speedier tax refunds and compensation, reduction in custom fees and charges, as well as waivers and reduction in financial guarantees. AEO Mike does not need to type his precious capital into customs formalities, enjoying even a small discounts in certain customs fees, while non-AEO John has to pay everything in full, therefore having less cash in hands to invest in business growth. Location is everything in real estate business. This applies at least to some extent in custom business too. Thanks to his AEO certificate, Mike has the privilege to choose the place for customs control, naturally opting for its own premises whenever feasible. Non-AEO John instead, well, no need to spell the obvious. Some customs union may have planned to offer the option of centralized customs clearance for AEO certified companies, as the Union Custom Code that the European Union provides. Centralized clearance scheme has a big potential in rationalizing trade compliance and clearance operations, especially for multinational companies. This is something to keep your eyes open for. Mutual recognition agreements, MRAs, are another hot potato in the universe of AEO programs and the benefit they offer. Sure, MRA may facilitate faster certification process or reduce interventions in the supply chain, but conceptually, MRAs are just enablers for AEO benefits, not a means to an end. In other words, AEO MRAs may exist today delivering zero tangible benefits for the importers and freight forwarders, so we have to hold our horses before announcing MRAs as a real benefit. Lastly, when it comes to AEO benefit in business relationships, there seems to be reasonable evidence that having an AEO helps to maintain your current customer base and to win new ones, particularly if you happen to be an actor in global logistic business. Oh, one more note. Quite often, reduction of theft incidents is quoted to be an AEO benefit, but this is a bit of a misconception, as having an AEO certificate does not reduce theft, but the underlying security measures may do so.
Well, John, we have now gone through a clear majority of potential AEO benefits for importers and freight forwarders, grouped under more streamlining, less frequent interventions, increased positive attention, increased priority over non-AEOs, fiscal, and few other benefits.
Thanks, Mike, for explaining all of this. Very exciting indeed. My next step is to carry out a detailed analysis in my country on which exact AEO benefits are available there. I also need to quantify the anticipated benefits in terms of time and cost savings and compare that with the investments required to become AEO compliant. Only after that I can make my final decision whether to apply for an AEO certificate or not.
Smart thinking, John. Maybe we could ask the experts watching this animation to help you in your final decision making.